The last time we were in McGurk Arena, we watched a cinematic finish to the MAC Championships, and Central Michigan hoisted their third trophy in 4 seasons. Now in 2026, we start off the conference schedule in the MAC with Central Michigan hosting Western Michigan. Hello and welcome inside McGurk Arena. Kyle Sandel alongside Alina Markowitz, and welcome into 2026. The gymnastics season is finally here.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one. We're really excited. We've got 2 really great teams. It's always a really good battle between Western Michigan and Central. There's so many strengths on both sides. I'm excited to see what happens today. Yeah,
and we're excited to highlight a couple of gymnasts as well. First off, on the side for Western Michigan, it's the reigning Mid-American Conference Freshman of the Year, Rylan Garvey.
Yes, she was the MAC Freshman of the Year last year. Coming in as a sophomore this year, she was an all-arounder last year. This year, she's going to be competing 2 events today, not just this year, but today. She has a huge double layout off of bars that I'm really excited to see. She was also the Western Female Athlete of the Year last year, which is a really huge honor. Gymnastics is a sport that, in my opinion, needs to be highlighted like that. So Rylan's a wonderful example of a strong athlete.
Awesome to see her win all of those awards last season. And on the flip side for Central Michigan, we're looking at the junior Samantha Shannon.
Samantha's super fun to watch. We like to call her Jersey here. We've typically seen her on bars, vault, and we saw her on beam last year. Today we get to see her in the all-around, and I am so excited. She brings such a dynamic element to this sport, to McGurk. She's incredible to watch.
We're very excited to watch both of those gymnasts, and in general, we're excited to see this competition today because these teams always seem to play tight, Alina.
They do, and that's what I love about a good MAC matchup. These 2 teams just really exemplify everything that this sport has to offer. There's so much experience on both ends of the coaching for both teams, and just wait till you see the celebrations today. It's going to be a really fun meet.
Yeah, and it felt like just yesterday we were here for the MAC Championships in 2025, where Central Michigan was able to win their 3rd in 4 seasons, and now we're here in 2026, and we're finally here for the start of MAC conference play.
Yeah, super exciting to be back in McGurk.
As you see our lineups here for rotation 1, one of the 4 incoming freshmen for the Chippewas are going to start things off on the vault with Alexandra Reddick.
Alexandra is a freshman out of Ontario, Canada. She's going to be competing in Yurchenko full. Very nicely done with a slight step on the landing. Lots of height, though. Beautifully done.
And now here we see Rylan Garvey, who we highlighted in the open, coming off of winning the MAC Freshman of the Year a year ago.
Yeah, like we had said before, Rylan is a sophomore out of St. John, Indiana. Beautifully done. Tkachev there. Just a little early from high to low release. Going back up to finish strong on the high bar. Beautiful double lay. Absolutely gorgeous routine. Just shows how strong she is to be able to basically come out of any sort of positioning and get herself back up there and finish strong.
Well, a great start for Western Michigan, and now is Luciana Alvarado-Reed for Central Michigan. And boy, you could go on and on about all of the accolades that Lucy has achieved.
Yes, we don't have enough time to even go through that on vault on this rotation, but she is an absolute standout. I'm really excited to see what she is going to bring to the table this year. She competes at Yurchenko full. She's got beautiful form in the air. Just watch how high she gets off the table and how aggressive she runs at this board. Just waiting a little bit on these judges. Looks like we're ready to go. Beautifully done. With just, again, a slight step back on that landing. Beautiful form in the air. She has what's called the float and flare coming down out of that twist. Let's see if we can see that one more time. Watch how strong she reaches onto the board. Beautiful positioning on the table. Just a slight separation in the legs, but gorgeously done. Great vault from Luciana.
Your reigning Gymnast of the Year in the Mid-American Conference. Now on the bars for Western Michigan is Aaliyah Kelly.
Yeah, Aaliyah does this Ginger combo to a bail. Let's see. This Western team, just wait till you see these girls dismount. A little bit of trouble landing there. I couldn't quite see if she let go just a second early, a slight millisecond early from our view over here, but beautifully done. It's not something characteristic of her to not land that. But again, we do get one score that gets to be dropped from each lineup.
Well,
Again,
here's Samantha Shannon.
Season two.
So, excuse me.
Go
Here's
ahead.
Samantha Shannon, though, on the vault for Central Michigan. You talked about it, competing as an all-around this season for the Chippewas and getting started here on the vault.
Yeah, Samantha is such a joy to watch. She's a junior this year out of Naperville, Illinois. We've seen her compete on vault before. She does a nice Yurchenko full. Very nicely done. Happy feet at the end there, but again, a beautiful vault from this central lineup. I'm loving the height that I'm seeing from this lineup. I'm loving how strong and powerful they look coming up onto the board. Great, great start.
Well, now we have Reese Samuelson, a junior from Marengo, Illinois for Western Michigan, tied a career best on the bars in the previous meet.
Yeah, Reese is out of Phenom Gymnastics. She is a fantastic bar swinger. She's no stranger to this event. Getting herself a little bit mentally prepared as you have to sometimes, or all the time. Nicely done, Jaeger. Beautifully done to finish off this routine. Hitting those handstands, which is a super important element in the judging. Gorgeous double lay, wow. Beautiful positioning. Very, very nicely done. Watch how high she gets. She's got plenty of time to see the landing. Watch this. Beautifully done. Sees the landing, locks in, presses. Beautiful finish. Great routine for Reese.
Well, here's Ava Boots for
Ava
Central
Boots with
Michigan.
her hand front with a half out. Great, great job. Stuck those feet down, saw her landing, pressed to perfection. Beautifully done. Watch this as a front entry vault. Hits the table. Look at that height. Just the slightest bit. There she is. Great job. Beautiful stick.
Big smile on her face as well
Yes.
from Ava Boots.
A fifth-year senior out of Ludington, Michigan. She knows exactly what she's supposed to do. It becomes after a while a feeling, and she knows exactly where she needed to be. Beautiful, beautifully done.
Well, now one of the two incoming transfers for Western Michigan. It's Kate Parks from Lebanon, Ohio, coming in from Ohio State.
Starting out on the low bar. Right back down. Beautifully done. Pirouette half to finish off her routine. Watch this dismount. I watched this earlier. We've only had a couple meets this season, but this is such a great lineup of dismounts. Oh, so close. She fought for it. We love a good fight. Very nice job. Beautifully executed routine. Everything was very tight and straight on the top. Got Ava over here on vault with another huge Yurchenko full. Very nicely done. Great execution off of the table. Again, the judges are looking for those dynamics. They want to see height coming off of the table. They want to see control on the way down. Nice tight body positioning, and she did all of that. Great, great vault.
Well, now coming up for Western Michigan on the uneven bars, you mentioned it earlier, but such a young team, a lot of freshmen on this Broncos team, but it's going to be one of the veterans here, a senior,
Yes.
McKenna King.
I believe there are 10 new gymnasts on the Western team, and about 40% on the Central team are also freshmen, so young teams, but again, I always say they're not inexperienced. They do know exactly what they're doing. It's just a new experience. It's a new setting, right? Collegiate gymnastics a little bit different than club, but they're doing great. I've watched these past couple meets. Central competing last weekend for the first time. Western competing the past couple of weekends. Great things happening on both sides. We've got McKenna King over on bars right now, a senior out of Indiana. Starts things off with a Jaeger. Very nicely done. She finishes this routine off with a double lay, which I'm convinced having a really cool dismount is a requirement to be on this Western bar lineup. Very nicely done. Great routine for her. I know earlier in the season she had a little bit of trouble catching that release, but beautifully done today.
Well, here goes Leah Kamichek for Central Michigan, just like Ava Boots, a fifth year returning for the Chippewas.
Yeah, fifth-year senior out of Naperville, Illinois, again, competing at Yurchenko full. She's got a series of accolades on vault. She's really kind of she's got a PR of 9.9. So she has the potential to score big on that vault. A Yurchenko full in gymnastics and collegiate gymnastics, the start value is a 9.95. So they can't score a 10 because of the start value, but she has the capability to score a 9.9, which is a huge, huge vault score. She had a little bit of trouble going up and onto the table, which is why she put her hands down there. But again, another uncharacteristic thing of her to see.
Yeah, part of that second team, all-conference team a year ago, as well was on the all-tournament squad in the MAC championships.
Yeah, she's a fantastic gymnast. Really happy to see her back. Over on bars, we've got Julie Corfridge. Another really unique dismount that we see, but we don't see a ton of here. Great free hip to handstand. It's a toe front pike with a half out, gorgeously done. Obviously that stick, it's just the cherry on top of that routine. Great, great job from Julie. Really, really good dismount.
Great job from Western Michigan on the uneven bars. Now we've hit our exhibitions here for Central Michigan. Jenna Germond, a junior who's returning, spent a lot of time in her first two seasons, competing in 3 meets a year ago and 12 as a freshman.
Nice Yurchenko full from Jenna. I know she felt like she probably needed a little bit more height off of the table, but she locked into that landing and nailed it. Great job, Jenna. Great exhibition, great exhibition to have in a back pocket of a lineup, but you always want to see those big vaults that could be. Super exciting to see those athletes pulled up eventually, throughout the season and see, what they've been working on in the gym.
Well, now it's another freshman for Western Michigan, Amy Robbins up. Another one from the neighbor of the North, from Ontario, Canada.
Amy starts her routine off with a little trouble on that Maloney. Just regrouping and getting some advice to hop back up and finish strong. Although Amy's a freshman, again, she's no stranger to the mat. She has formerly earned a bronze on bars at the Canadian National Championship as a level 10 in 2022. There we go. Nicely done. Cleaned up that Maloney bail combo to show us what. Got a stall there to double tuck dismount. Nicely done. Lots of height in that. Great way to finish out that routine. Nicely done.
Well, we'll now head over to another freshman for Central Michigan. It's Paige Hassling from Yorktown, Virginia, to close things out on the vault for the Chippewas.
I watched Paige in warm up her Yurchenko full, so I'm really excited to see what she does in front of these judges. A freshman out of Yorktown, Virginia. What I was seeing before was the power that she was producing on this runway up to the table. Giving those judges a second. Here she goes. Got Coach Katie Ordaway in the back, another legend here at Central Michigan. Very nicely done with the slightest of steps to the side. Very, very nicely done. Yurchenko full from Paige.
Quite impressive to do it with the glasses on, too, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, closing things out now for Western Michigan on the bars is Sydney Hubach.
Giving herself a second to mentally prepare before we jump up. Start things off with her Maloney Pat combo. What a fight in that half pirouette. Such strength on this Western bar lineup. It's so awesome to watch. The potential, wow. Beautiful double lay. Again, I'm gonna have to really clarify, is that a requirement to be on this lineup? is a really amazing dismount.
Well, you see there are scores from this first rotation for Central Michigan on the vault, a 9.8 from Ava Boots.
Nice set of scores there. Here's your bar lineup from Western. Hitting in the big 9.7s over there, doing a great job.
Well, that's going to take us to our second rotation here. We're through run inside of McGurk Arena. Back inside McGurk Arena, and Alina, you were talking about before we went to break the unique dismount that Western Michigan has here on the bars.
Yeah, they have an entire lineup of really good dismounts on bars. I always get excited to see what they've got in store for us, but here we see Aaliyah Kelly with that, again, that beautiful double layup bars. I just wanted to see that one more time because that was so awesome.
Well, it's talking about the awesomeness of Western Michigan. It all starts with the head coach, Penny Jernigan.
Yeah, Penny has been the head coach at Western since 2013, but she has given her life to the sport of gymnastics. Everything that she does, the knowledge, the energy she's poured into the sport is just, it's legendary. Speaking of legends.
Yeah, speaking of legendary, how about Christine McDonald here for Central Michigan?
Yeah, Coach Christine has been in the Central Michigan gymnastics program for 37 years. She has done so much for this program as head coach. I mean, again, we don't have enough time to talk about how much Coach Christine McDonald has done here. Another legend in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of figures of Central Michigan in general, just the community, Christine McDonald is one of the very first people that you think of being here as an athlete, an assistant, and then the head coach, winning 3 of 4 titles here in the Mid-American Conference. Plenty of Coach of the Years as well.
Not only that, both sides of this coaching staff, again, have poured in the better half of 4 decades into both sides, as in Western and Central. They poured in just, again, their lives into this sport and created 2 programs that have happy, really talented gymnasts. So this is, again, why I was so excited to see this matchup.
Getting it so early into the season as well to kick off Mid-American Conference meets.
Yep. A really fun start to the season. Again, I love seeing all the new faces out here. I love that, you know, gymnastics, the transfer portal has been so widely, has a wide range of girls coming in and out of different programs. And again, the new faces are exciting to see.
Well, we're about ready to start off our second rotation here in McGurk Arena.
Western getting ready to show up that vault lineup, and of course Coach George Young over there, assistant coach at Central, getting really excited for bars. Keep an eye out for him and his reactions to these dismounts.
Yeah, we need a George Young cam inside of McGurk Arena.
We
Man,
absolutely do.
So entertaining. Well, here's Hannah Milton for Western Michigan, a junior from Hinsdale, Illinois.
Hannah does a Yurchenko full. I was watching her in the warm-up as well. Beautifully done. Again, great body positioning off of that table. Well-deserved celebration after that. Great job on that vault, Hannah.
Celebrations are one of the best, my favorite parts about gymnastics, just how excited everybody gets.
Oh yeah, and gymnastics has been getting really rowdy these past couple weeks of celebrations. We got Caitlin Schwab, a sophomore from Illinois, over on bars. One of my favorite things about Caitlin on bars is her handstand lines. Very nicely done. Look at that celebration. Coach George down there just very warmly excited for that.
It's so amped up. You love to see that from Central Michigan on their start here on the bars.
Yeah, great leadoff routine for that lineup. Beautiful, beautiful job.
Well, now we'll flip it over back to Western Michigan on the vault, and it's once again Aaliyah Kelly, the sophomore.
Aaliyah Kelly does, again, a different vault than that round-off entry that we've been seeing quite a bit. She does a hand front tuck with a half out. I was watching her in warm-up too, and what a dynamic vaulter she. Oh, she's going to do a Yurchenko full. Okay, there we go. Great job. Beautiful job. Oh, okay. Loving these celebrations.
Well, we saw
Again,
Ava
great
Wellmeyer on the vault, and now here she is on the bars.
Ava, another sophomore out of Ohio, Zanesville, Ohio. Ava's new on bars in her collegiate career. Last week, I believe, was her first time competing bars on a collegiate floor. Very nice Jaeger to shoot over. Teammates are obviously excited to see that. Very nicely done. Another toe front pike with a half out. Very nice routine, super solid. Fantastic routine.
Well, now we have Kennedy Cooper here from Novi, Michigan, a sophomore for Western Michigan. Talking about this earlier off the air, but her father, Eric, here played football at Central Michigan, so she's got some Mount Pleasant ties.
He did. I love that stat about her. I love that. We caught that earlier. I believe last year that her dad did play football here at Central. Obviously, nice Yurchenko full she just did over there. Locked into her landing, pressed those feet.
Pretty rare you have the Chippewa and Bronco blood cross paths, but you do in the Cooper family.
Right, I wonder if he's here tonight.
What is he wearing? You know,
yeah,
that's the better question.
I'm curious.
Well, we discussed it earlier when we saw Samantha Shannon on the vault competing as an all-around this season for Central Michigan. Here she is on the uneven bars.
Yeah, Samantha in her third year. I was talking to Coach George about a week or so ago, and he had mentioned how determined Samantha is and just how self-motivated she is to just be the best that she could be. A quality in gymnast that's often found, but he's talking about how special Samantha was when it came to really wanting to just be better. Which it shows because every year she shows us something higher or upgraded or tighter. She's shining. It's so fun to watch. Just giving the judges a quick second. Samantha setting up. Very, very, very nice piked Jaeger. Bail the handstand. Solid as can be. Huge double lay dismount, step on the end, but beautifully done routine. Form about as good as it gets on that Jaeger. The height, absolutely fantastic. Hopping right back over to vault, Brooke Galesko. Brooke with the hand front, with the half out. Very, very well done. Super, super high. Might be able to see that one more time because that height was incredible off the table. Wow. Incredible height off the table. A little bit of trouble with that half, trying to get her feet to the ground, but she got him there. And finished strong. Great, great vault. Popping right back over to bars. Got Gabrielle Johnson.
Yeah, pretty cool with Gabrielle Johnson. Her and Zoe Pelfrey both coming from Westchester, Ohio, both competing for Cincinnati Gymnastics Academy. Now teammates here at Central Michigan, of course.
Right, both out of CGA in Ohio. She starts out with a really impressive combination. Again, the height, absolutely incredible. that hit handstand. Again, what the judges are looking for. Double tuck, great landing, great way to finish off that beautiful routine. The control she had was incredibly impressive. Every skill she did was just placed, and it looked great.
Here's Bella Cholfi for Western Michigan, a freshman, but not new to the vault, a 3-time state champ in high school.
Nicely done. Big Yurchenko full. And they are absolutely right. Again, although they're freshmen, they are not new to the competition floor, but it is a difference. It is a big difference in college going from one to the other. I don't think you would actually know who was a freshman here the way that these teams are competing today.
Absolutely.
If you didn't know who was a freshman, I don't think you could pick them out of a crowd because they've been absolutely fantastic.
Well, someone we know is not a freshman is Lucy Alvarado-Reed because of how much you've seen her here and how dominant she's been. And she's up next here on the bars for the Chippewas.
Yeah, something really cool about Luciana is she's currently tied for 6th in the nation on uneven bars, and she has dynamics that just explosive dynamics. She's got great height. Just watch this routine. I can't wait to see her this year. The past few years watching her has been incredible. Again, no stranger. Again, she's a former Olympian. So
yeah.
Definitely not a stranger to a big stage.
So good at every event, but the bars specifically at 9.950 in 2024.
Yeah, she's the MAC bar champ in 2024.
And
Does
she's
really
coming
cool.
off of the Gymnast of the Week as well to start in the MAC
Yeah,
so far in
is.
2026.
Which again is a list, a long
Yeah.
list for her as well. She has many, many, many Mid-American Conference accolades over the past few years. Really excited to see her routine. Again, watching her in the warm-up. Keep an eye out for this huge handstand to Maloney immediate pack salto combo. Giving the judges, again, another second. Of course, the judges have to be right on and make sure that they're being fair throughout the nation. So sometimes it does take a little extra time to figure out and make sure these scores are right on. Wrapping up to start her routine with her Maloney. The time in the air and the body positioning is just incredible. Watch how tight her legs are. Immaculate form. Look at that blind full to perfection, and that is why she is the one to beat on bars. She is incredible. She's an incredible bar worker.
Wow.
Beautifully done. Almost makes it look easy, which I can promise you it isn't. Great, great routine out of Luciana.
Well, Western Michigan will close off with the Hannah, Indiana native, McKenna King.
Huge Yurchenko full, wow. Watch this height she gets off of the table. Nice open shoulder angle. Beautifully done. A little bit of a step on the landing, but again, sometimes we often think that the judges are just looking for that stick, and that's just a slice of the score. What happens in the air is so important, and she absolutely executed with perfection. Great job.
We're back to Leah Kamichek now for the Chippewas on the uneven bars.
Leah is somebody who consistently gives amplitude in all of the skills that she does. Beautifully done, bail the handstand. Again, somebody else with lines that just are beautiful. A squeeze to the very nice, very, very, very nice. Great routine. Wow, look at that stuck landing. Beautiful double A. I stumbled over my words because it's just a beautiful routine. No words.
Speechless.
Speechless. I couldn't even find the words. Beautiful routine from Leah.
When she came up so huge for Central Michigan in the MAC championships a year ago, was second in the vault and on the bars. Does a great job there, talking it over. And now Maylee Wendell will talk with Coach Young before she competes here as an exhibition.
Yeah, that was a huge double A dismount out of Leah. Perfectly placed feet. It's funny because watching Coach George Young over here on bars, he's so serious in the beginning, but if you could just see what we see from our seats, just the way that he gets so excited and so in tune with these routines. One of my favorite parts of being in McGurk is watching his reaction.
His body movement throughout is just, it's fun to watch.
Lots to be proud of. A little bit of trouble with the swing there, but again, taking her time. They've got plenty of time to kind of recoup, refocus, hop back up, finish strong.
So what are these conversations like, Alina, when you're in between here before you get back up on the bars? What is the motivation here coming from Coach Young?
Well, sometimes it's going to be a little bit of a switch up in the routine, what she's going to get up and finish with. Sometimes it's just, hey, a little bit of, just a little bit of a correction, for what happened. But really, it's about moving on and getting back up there and finishing strong, just the way she's doing now. Wow, beautifully done. Again, this is Maylee, and she's exhibitioning right now. This is an exhibition routine, but what a great routine to again have in the back pocket of this lineup, as I like to say, because this is something that, again, you can at any time she could get in this lineup, and that was a wonderful routine to have in a lineup. Beautifully done, very, very strong.
Yeah, great job from Maylee Wendell, and great job from the Chippewas as well on the bars as you're taking a look at the scores here.
Yeah, very nice bar rotation. To wrap up that second rotation, over here we've got the vault scores. Brooke Gillespie coming in with a 9.8. Very good, and then McKenna King with a 9.825. Couple 9.7s. Very, very good vault rotation for Western. Very impressive lineups.
We've got great competition going on here inside of McGurk Arena, and we will head to rotation 3 coming up next. Well, here's Leah Kamichek here, previously for Central Michigan, matching a career best with a 9.9 on the bars.
Beautiful, beautiful double A. Wanted to re-show that one because of that perfect body position, great landing.
Well, you see here our lineups for rotation 3 as Central Michigan will take the beam. Western Michigan will head over to the floor.
I'm really excited to watch Central on beam. Lots of new series, lots of new faces on beam. Very exciting. Over on floor, I'm especially excited to see a couple routines. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to talk about first, but Hannah Milton's got a really cool floor routine. Excited to see that. Kennedy Cooper's going to open up with a huge pass. I'm really excited to see that one live too. Again, so early in the season, but such big things happening in this conference.
And a great crowd here today at McGurk Arena as well to kick off the MAC meets. A lot of fans from each side coming out. And here we go. Freshman Ashlyn Richards is going to take the beam first for the Chippewas.
Ashlyn is a freshman from Lowell, Michigan. Competed with our athletics, a gymnastics program out in the Grand Rapids area. She has a very unique routine with two skills that aren't often seen in college gymnastics. Starts off with that beautifully executed aerial back handspring. Nice. Leap series. Heading into another element that you don't often see. Fought for that. Stayed on the beam, beautifully done. Side summy. Now her round off 1.5 dismount, beautifully done. Bit of a step on her landing, but a great routine to lead off this beam lineup.
Well, and here's Hannah Milton for Western Michigan. You said you were pretty excited about her routine here.
For it. This is a very unique routine. Something different. A little more dramatic and with a little bit of a spooky element. I really like it. Love the music and the choreography.
Definitely some eerier vibes here.
Yes. Again, different. Different's good. Beautiful start with her punch front layout to Rudy into an immediate split jump. Prior to her collegiate career, she competed at Big Gymnastics out of Illinois. This last pass, setting up to do her round off double tuck. Very nicely done, lots of height, plenty of time to land. Fantastic routine from Hannah. Definitely a reason to be excited. What a way to start off that lineup.
Absolutely.
So much fun on floor.
Well, here's Ava Boots for Central Michigan competing on the beam. She was in exhibition last week, but doing so here now. Second up here for Central.
Yeah. Ava is a really beautiful beam worker. Very experienced on beam, even though she exhibitioned last week. That back handspring layout step out, she was not going to let that go. That comes from a lot of experience and kind of knowing how to readjust and keep going. Nice front toss to beat jump. Pike gainer dismount, the slightest of hops. Great routine. Again, beautifully done. And one of the goals is to stay on, you know?
Well, now it's Molly Sabin for Western Michigan on the floor. Her sister actually joining the team with her this year. A couple of freshmen from Stowe, Indiana. Olivia, that is her sister. But it's Molly here on the floor.
Molly, a freshman out of Ohio. Starting things off with a double pike. Very nicely done. Another really unique piece of music. Very nicely done, Popa Popa. Some of these dance elements make me feel like I want to see somebody try that. Just
Right.
like not at home, but I want to see somebody else try it.
Very creative, yeah.
Somebody with a little less athleticism may not be so successful at something like that.
I do not doubt that at all.
Another round off double tuck, this time with the punch front in front of it. Great routine. Coach Penny's reaction to that. Obviously excited to see these first routines get out there and do exactly what they're supposed to do, which is get out, perform.
Great start to the floor for Western Michigan. Back on the beam now for Central, and it's Gabrielle Johnson.
Gabrielle's a junior from Westchester, Ohio. She's new to the beam lineup. Like I said, you're going to see a few new faces on beam today. Again, we love a good fight. Great save on that. Stayed on the beam. Wow. That front toss to scale was super impressive. If you notice, she had landed on one leg and pulled her leg behind her and did a beautiful scale. Nice switch loop straddle quarter. Now just to finish up her routine with that pike gainer. Great execution on spotting that landing, pressing those feet, and really showing that stick.
Yeah, great balance from Gabrielle Johnson there. Back over to Western Michigan now. It's back-to-back freshman. Bella Cholfi's up.
We don't like to say too much height because there's really no such thing, but a little bit of imbalance on that landing. Incredible height though. She actually does another double tuck. There we go. For that second pass. Again, keeping her composure and finishing strong. Bella's a freshman. Competed for Metro South Gymnastics Academy and Massachusetts Elite Gymnastics. Formerly before her collegiate career. Lots of big things for her coming up in the future.
Well, now we have back-to-back Westchester, Ohio natives for Central Michigan. It's Zoe Pelfrey to take the beam for the Chippewas. Won a silver medal at the MAC Championships last year on the beam. Also a part of that MAC All-Tournament team.
Yeah, with that second place finish on beam last year at MAC Championships, she did set a career high of a 9.85 on beam. Zoe is an incredibly hard worker. She brings an element to beam of strength and power that is so rare to see sometimes. We like to see grace on beam, but personally, the power on beam is something that's so cool to see. Nice aerial round off. Keeping the flow going. Couple little footing mistakes, but keeping it going. With that split three-quarter, which is extremely hard to do. You're landing on the side of the beam. You can tell she was happy to plant her feet and continue through the end of this routine. She's gonna finish strong. Very nicely done. Beautiful gainer full off the side, off the side of the beam. Great routine. Again, just planting those feet and getting the job done. Staying on the beam. Beautifully done.
Well, now we have a judges meeting going on ahead of Kennedy Cooper for Western Michigan. So take me through this, Alina. What are the conversations being had during the judges meeting going over the previous Bronco that was on the floor?
Well, right now they're probably disputing, again, just details of the score. So whether that's a start value that somebody miscalculated, or whether that's maybe the steps that she was taking after that first pass, maybe one counted more than the other. It could be really anything. Would love to take a trip through the judges' brain to actually know what they, are talking about, or hear a fly on the wall as they're having this conversation. But it literally could be anything. So just making sure, again, that the score is fair. Something must have been off on one side of the judging. And again, we have to kind of meet in the middle. So that's figuratively and literally what they just did.
Right in the middle of the mat.
Right in the middle of the floor, yep. Waiting for Kennedy Cooper to show off this awesome routine. Just wait till you see this.
Yeah, she was getting some serious height in the warm-up, I noticed.
Yes, she is an incredible tumbler and a great floor worker. Again, Kennedy's a sophomore. She competed at Mega in the Novi area of Michigan. Graduated from Walled Lake Central. Oh my gracious, that was awesome. Sometimes the landing's so good we don't even need to take that back step, although it's not a deduction. She really wanted to show that, yep, she didn't need that. Fantastic job. And I believe, and maybe could be wrong, but that is the only one of those passes that we're going to be seeing here today. Very unique. She also ends with a double tuck. Again, punch front through to double. Beautifully done. I love her face when she lands. It's like she's almost telling the judges, like, I did that.
Yeah. Look what I just did.
Just to make sure, I want you to see that my feet were here and my chest was here, up in the right position. Beautifully done.
Tremendous
Great
work.
routine from Kennedy Cooper.
Absolutely. We're now on to the bar, back for Central Michigan. It's Samantha Shannon.
Samantha Shannon's on beam.
Oh, did I say bar?
Yeah. But
beam.
I was waiting till she did that beautiful 3-skill series. I didn't want to talk during it because It's just a chance to kind of enjoy the beauty of it. She does a gorgeous 3-skill series, traveling right across the beam, but it was beautifully done. Switch leap, series combo. Again, there are so many other elements in these routines that the judges are looking for. We always, I think as the audience, we're looking for these big skills, but in the gymnastics world, we're looking for all of the elements that are involved, including the artistry. Beautiful job with that round off full and a half dismount. Great job from Samantha Shannon.
Well, here's another look at that great finish from Kennedy Cooper.
Punch front through to round off hand double. Great way to end that routine. And just to be clear, it is incredibly hard to end a routine with a double back. But she does not look phased.
Yeah, doesn't look very hard for her, yeah. Well, here's Aaliyah Kelly for Western Michigan, transferring over from NIU, so staying in the Mid-American Conference.
Very nice, double full. Full in, rather. I also know that Aaliyah is capable of doing that in the laid out position. Very nicely done. Another punch front through to round off spring, double back. Beautiful, beautiful routine from Aaliyah. Great tumbling, the height, and again, I was wrong. That first pass, that was definitely another one to see, another one to watch.
Well, here's Luciana Alvarado-Reed, now up on the beam for Central Michigan.
What a save. The strength that took in her legs to stay on that beam. Incredible. Beautifully done. Feet, shoulders, and head was perfectly aligned to land that aerial in just the textbook perfect position. Nice pike gainer dismount. So far, this central lineup said we are not coming off of this beam. We are staying on. Great job, ladies.
Absolutely. Now for Western Michigan, it's Brooke Galesko, the junior from Stevensville, Michigan. Always cool to see how the other gymnasts on your team just know the routine with you, doing it in unison. Very cool to see.
Yes. She started, yes, they're seeing each other basically, every day. They're learning each other's routines. They find their favorite parts, or probably the whole routine.
Right.
Right? But that is one of my favorite parts of college gymnastics. She started off her routine with a huge punch front double, and I just want to acknowledge that is an E-level skill the value of the skill is an E, which is the highest value that you can achieve in this sport on the collegiate side. Beautifully done. Brooke Galesko is a floor worker. She does a phenomenal job at just keeping her lines, in her tumbling, performing. Everything is so on point. Beautiful routine.
Now we have a couple of exhibitions for the Chippewas on the beam. Jenna German from Neshannock, Pennsylvania, now up for the Chippewas.
Coach Christine was talking about how Jenna is such an aggressive beam worker with a very unique way of performing her routines. She does a cat leap switch side quarter. Again, another unique series. Lots and lots of height on that layout step out. Again, you can kind of see her looking to coach for acknowledgement, like, what do I do now? Except for she obviously knows, but looking for acknowledgement sometimes in that moment is so reassuring, looking over and just, she just told her you couldn't see, but we could. Get back up and finish. She knew to do that, but it's so funny when you're in competition mode, your brain is just locked in on your routine. So sometimes you do need to look over at coach and say, hey, what's next, right?
Shows how strong that relationship is between coach and gymnast.
Yep. Back handspring 2 foot, full and a half to finish off that routine. An awesome routine. Obviously minus that fall, but when she hits that routine, man, just wait.
Here's Julie Corfinch for Western Michigan, competing as an exhibition.
She also starts her routine off with the double pike. Little bit of trouble on that takeoff out of the back handspring to get exactly where she needed to be in the landing for the double pike, but still well done. Getting to her feet. Great height on that Rudy layout step out. Punch front fold to immediate punch front lay. Fantastic work. Love a 3-pass floor routine. Great job.
Well, now to close things out in our third rotation, it's Alicia Murray for the Chippewas here on the beam.
Full turn perfection. Doesn't get much better than that. A little bit of trouble getting your shoulders up on that landing, and her feet were a little bit to the side. But wow, this routine is incredible. Alicia did gymnastics at Hunt's Gymnastics Academy here in Michigan. Beautifully done front toss. These standing elements are so incredibly hard to do. These girls just make it look so easy. Great routine. It's so hard to get, you know, in front of a judge. That's the pressure. But it's good to practice that pressure. And I can see, again, these routines, these exhibition routines today, they really have a good future. I'm excited to see them. Absolutely.
You look at the beam scores here for Central Michigan. And then on the flip side for Western Michigan, the floor scores.
Yeah, some fantastic floor routines out of Western. I was so excited to watch them do bars today, and honestly, I really enjoyed bars, but floor was really fun to watch.
Yeah, they brought it on the floor, and now that's going to take us to our final rotation. We're flying through here in McGurk Arena. Rotation 4 is coming up in Mount Pleasant. Well, Alina mentioned how hard it is for a regular person to do gymnastics because the gymnasts make it look so easy. How about the Central Michigan president, Neil McKinnon, and his wife? They joined the Central Michigan gymnastics team this week and got some practice in. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
There he is right there.
I love when other, not regular, non-gymnasts try gymnasty things. It's so fun to watch. I've seen, you know, obviously this was on Instagram, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to look it up on social media, I believe Central Michigan Gymnastics page, I believe, reposted it or posted it,
yeah.
Right? Hilarious. I've seen other trends of other people as well. Trying gymnastics, hockey players,
easy.
Wrestlers, football players. It's a lot of fun.
And we're excited for the lot of fun that's going to happen in this fourth rotation here. There's your lineup. Central Michigan on the floor, Western Michigan on the beam, and boy, we know about CMU on the floor, how awesome they were in the MAC championships a year ago. Going into the fourth rotation, had such an awesome run to eventually lead them to the MAC title.
Yeah, get ready for a floor party over here. They are so fun to watch on floor as a lineup, as a team. And of course, Western over on beam right now very uniquely has this way of competing beam. They have these lines, these techniques, straight legs, things that, again, all the judges are looking for. Really excited to see them live this year and see what they put together for a lineup.
And they're going to start that lineup off with the sophomore, Rylan Garvey.
Rylan's one of my favorites to watch on beam from this team. She's just a beautiful beam worker. She's going to start things off with the back handspring layout. Again, I did not want to say anything during the series.
Got to lock in for that.
I lock in, yeah. I just, you know, don't want to say anything before they do their series. But her back handspring layout is stunning. Beat jump to a standing layout step out. Beautifully done. So solid. Very nicely done. Gainer full to end. I couldn't help but notice how locked in she was during that routine and how her eyes were just locked into the beam exactly where they needed to be.
Great start for Western Michigan. Central Michigan will start off with the all-arounder, Samantha Shannon.
All-arounder Samantha Shannon, a.k.a. all-arounder jersey. A floor debut of sorts in McGurk. Very nicely done. Huge double tuck. Similar to that bar release, so high. As my friend Kim would say, she's up there cleaning the Raptors. When gymnasts pick their music, it oftentimes reflects personality.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, how much time do you think they spend just trying to figure out the music choice for the routine?
Very nicely done. Great floor routine by Samantha. And to answer your question, really what it is a lot of the times they hear a certain piece that they really like, and maybe they kind of keep it in the back of their minds, or sometimes they have no idea and they start just exploring. There's also been really cool new innovations, not like back when in the olden days when I was a gymnast, where we had to pick from a tape or a CD. But now there's new innovations in the sport for floor, where they can actually find music that's totally and completely unique to them and sometimes never heard before. But that one, when I was watching it, it really was a really good reflection of her personality, of who she is as a gymnast.
Yeah, a lot of mashed together songs you typically see.
Yeah.
So great job there from Samantha Shannon. We'll head back over to the beam now for Western. It's Bella Cholfi, the freshman from Foxborough, Massachusetts.
You can just tell that there's a fire in Bella. She looks just happy to be here. She's enjoying her gymnastics. You can tell there's a lot of strength. The way she's competed this afternoon.
Looks like we're just waiting on a ruling from our judges before Bella's able to get going, but you see her looking up at her fans and maybe family up in the crowd. A lot of supporters from both sides here today in McGurk Arena.
Yeah, not too far of a drive.
Even through the wintry mix we're having this time of year.
I say that and went through the same snowstorm they did coming in. Nothing new to natives of Michigan, right?
Absolutely not. All right, here we go. Now Bella Cholfi's going to take the beam for the Broncos.
Early in the season, she scored a 9.725 on this routine. Starting things off with a wolf turn. Very nicely done. Again, something that's extremely hard to do. Turning in that single leg position, squatted down to a single leg position. That handspring layout, step out with that same attitude of just staying on for dear life. Very nicely done. Switch side leap there. It's such a unique routine. Just taking the deep breath before she wraps this up with her 1.5, with her round off 1.5 dismount, with the slightest of hops. Very, very nicely done. Great routine.
Big high fives from Coach Jernigan as well.
Samantha Shannon's score coming in on floor.
Now here's Jenna German for the Chippewas.
Very nicely done. Jenna's a great performer with lots of big dance. Artistry is a big part of the score. Danceability, floor mobility. The way you execute every section of these routines is so important to the final result of your score. Ending things with a round off 1.5. Punch front layout. Very nicely done. There's a switch side. Half with the straddled. Oops.
Very excited.
Sorry, I was watching the wrong screen. Very nice leap combination, though.
Big time celebration from her and her teammates as well. Now it's back over to the beam for Western Michigan, the freshman Molly Sabin.
I was talking about the flow of beam routines, and Molly knows how to flow through her beam routine so beautifully. Gorgeous back handspring layout step out. Nearly perfect form in that layout step out, to be exact. Those knees were squeezed. Her feet came down just at the right time. Beautifully done. Just getting from one part of this routine to the next and finishing strong with a big round off 4.5. Half a second. Stick to a little bit of a 1-2 step. Not really a hop, but a little 1-2 step backwards. But fabulous routine from Molly.
Well, now we're catching Zoe Zimmerman for the first time today for Central Michigan, the sophomore from Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada. She was so good on the floor in the MAC championships last year with a 9.9.
Very nicely done. Started off our routine with a beautiful punch front double. Again, that E value skill. Gorgeous. Switch ring to switch half popa. Very nicely done. Love the ending.
Very unique ending there, yeah, for Zoe Zimmerman. Love that. And now we'll quickly move over to the beam. Linda Euro up for Western Michigan. Another freshman coming from Delaware, Wilmington.
Linda kind of reconvening after that. Always hard to see gymnasts fall on beam. But again, it happens, and getting back up and finishing strong is one of the best lessons that gymnasts learn from a very young age. Right now, we're just piecing together those last elements. Round off 1.5.
Nice recovery from Linda Euro for Western Michigan. Now it's headed over to Ava Boots, the grad student for Central Michigan.
Again, it's so great to see Ava
There's that
back
excitement
here
from Coach Young right over there as well.
Where's the Coach George cam when we need it?
We need it.
And that 1.5. Had a little bit of trouble getting her feet planted exactly where she wanted them to finish out that punch front lay, but again, you're gonna have to finish strong, and that's exactly what she's doing. I love this piece of music. Getting those early in the season jitters out. Of course, as a fifth-year senior, you know, there's not many jitters, but in the beginning of the season, just getting out there and kind of reminding our bodies what it feels like to perform. Sometimes takes some time.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Back over to the beam here for Western Michigan. Here's Reese Samuelson.
Nice spring lay. Backhand spring lay out, step out to start off her routine. And a little bit of trouble in that standing front aerial, but again, is such a hard skill to do from the standing position. Punch front full. Fought for that landing. Her feet were not moving. She decided that her feet were not moving anymore.
Just stuck there.
She is a fantastic beam worker, and it has been really a joy to watch her throughout her career as well.
Now we've got back-to-back Avas for the Chippewas, from Ava Boots to Ava Wellmeyer, the sophomore from Zanesville, Ohio.
Fun fact, Ava choreographed her routine herself again this season. She opens here with a big double pike. Wow. Such height in that. She creates such momentum in these first skills and that hurdle going into these first skills that it almost makes these last skills that she does, that ending skill, look so magical. It's just beautiful. Nicely done double tuck to finish out her routine. Such a powerful floor routine for that lineup.
Yeah, great job for Ava Wellmeyer for Central Michigan. Now send it back over to Western. Hannah Milton's going to close things out for the Broncos.
Very nice aerial round-off series. Almost looks like she's kind of on a business trip in this beam routine. She's got a mission or a job to do. She's got her laser focus switch on. Nicely done.
A lot of excitement there as well.
What a great way to close up that lineup. Close out that lineup, rather. Great job.
Well, now to close out the lineup for Central Michigan, it's Luciana Alvarado-Reed.
I'm excited to see this floor routine, this new floor routine live here in McGurk. Love this music for her again. The beginning was definitely her. Now this powerful piece to a little bit of a remix. Again, such a reflection of her personality. Okay, I need to know who choreographed Luciana's routine.
That was tremendous.
You talk about the teammates doing, her teammates doing those parts of her routine. I mean, definitely don't look up here because I will try them. Okay, and it won't be as pretty as
You're
that.
going to start joining them as well, yeah.
Yeah.
The Chippewa
Love that
fans
routine.
loved that. They got really loud after that one. Now we're into our exhibitions for both sides, starting off for Western Michigan. It's Julie Corfidge, as we'll get our scores in as well for both teams in this final rotation.
I love how she's smiling and like enjoying this routine.
Great job from Julie. And you just heard it there. Olivia Dittmer, the sophomore from Essexville, Michigan. Now up as an exhibition for Central Michigan.
Olivia competed for Bay Valley Gymnastics Academy. Although this is an exhibition routine, she's new to competing floor this season and has a super fun routine. Great double pike to start. Very nicely done. So much height on that front layout, plenty of time to plant those feet. And land exactly where she wanted to. Close it out with that double tuck. Just a little bit short on the landing. Had a little bit of trouble getting her chest up to set for that double. But another 3-pass routine, very well done. Again, like I said, it is so hard to close out a routine with a double.
Yeah, and during Olivia's routine, right, during her routine, you saw Luciana Alvarado-Reed's score come in at a 9.9 for the Chippewas. Got our final.
The judges must have liked it as much as I did.
Yeah, I mean, you got very excited up here.
Yes.
They probably felt the same way. Great
that
job.
Artistry. Very nice series over on beam.
Yeah, it's Aaliyah Kelly closing things out for Western Michigan.
Wow. Fantastic standing series there. Round off 1.5. Just a slight step backwards. Very, very nice routine though. Again, another exciting routine to possibly put in the lineup. Lots of very good gymnastics happening here today. Either way, this is going to be a great year for both of these teams.
For sure. A lot of things to look forward to coming out of today's meet on both sides. Closing things off now for Central Michigan is Alicia Murray on the floor.
Alicia did compete last year on floor. Coach George in the background after that double tuck. She scored a 9.85 at that routine last year. So lots of potential in this routine. Very nice Rudy to double stack jump. From our angle up here, it's almost like she was kind of in line with us when she did that stack jump. Very nicely done. Round off 1.5, punch to an immediate front lay. What a great routine. Both of these teams have shown such power and strength and grace today. This has been a really exciting one to watch.
Yeah, it always is between these two in-state foes. It's always close, like you said.
Always.
I mean, prediction was correct, absolutely.
Looks like our final scores are in for the day.
Awesome job on the floor for Central Michigan. 3 9/8 or above. Luciana Alvo-Reed with a 9.9.
Some really good notes to take. And then obviously throughout the season, they go back to the gym and they make those little corrections and they get back and come back stronger.
There are your final scores on the beam for Western Michigan. So that is going to close everything. Central Michigan takes it. Final score 195 flat to 194.675. From everyone on our tremendous team, thank you for getting back into the MAC meets. We're excited. From Alina Markowitz, I'm Kyle Sandel. Have a great rest of your weekend.